Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Yeah.
Have breakfast for dinner with us, everybody.
Yes, have Brenner. It's Brenner.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts. To my right is a man who is considering boycotting Blizzards in his house after last night's beatdown of his Edmonton Oilers, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm recovering from the Oilers' loss, and I considered briefly banning Blizzards, but they're just too good. They're too good.
They're too good.
You know, sometimes the belly wins out over the heart sometimes. But I'm ready and raring to go tonight. Excited to talk about our movie that we have on tap, and excited to reveal our favorite athlete to wear the number 42, and whatever else we'll be talking about and chopping it up with people in the chat. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I had a pretty great weekend. I got to see some friends who I haven't seen in a bit. Hopefully we'll be going down to visit them in October, late November, late October, early November. But they're going to be up here for in early October, but I get to see them for a birthday party of one of my friends. And then, and Friday night was a great night. I had my own personal sports bar with I had Stanley Cup Final Game 2 on the big screen. I had CFL on the little screen. I had my beer in my hand.
Yeah.
And Saturday night I watched Money in the Bank and did some laundry. So
there you go.
Pretty good weekend.
Yeah.
A+ in my book.
Yeah, I mean, I mulched a little bit on Sunday. That's how I know I'm getting older. Yeah, I'm trying to up the curb appeal on the house, but I woefully underestimated the amount of mulch I would need. I will be making a return trip to a hardware store to buy many, many more bags because I got a lot more to do.
Yeah, that's what happens. It happens. It happens to all of us.
Yeah.
So here's what's on the menu tonight. We're going to talk about No Ticket Required. It's going to be the third installation of our summer movie series for 2025. We're going to talk about Mystery Alaska, our reaction to it. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. Spoiler alert. We're talking about Stanley Cup Game 3, the nightmare that was, if you're an Oilers fan. And then we're talking about our favorite athlete to wear the number 42. But before we do that, we just want to remind you about our social media channels. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search No Credentials Required. And you can also find our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and also our YouTube channel. And also get notified, hit that notification bell on Twitter, on YouTube. That way you know when live show is up, when we have video clips of the show go up, when we have social media, when we have announcements. That way you are well informed. Also, on the podcast side, rate and review, 5-star rating. Leave a review if you can, and also leave a comment on Spotify. Also, if you're watching, this is a live show. on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern, although we push up to 6:45 today because I had an appearance on Levac and Gaz, our local radio show, friends of the show. I went on their show for a bit. They had a remote in Mohawk Chevrolet in Malta, so I stopped by with some C4s and said hello and talked about different topics for sport in the sporting world. And we're also on for the Saturday brunch edition on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. We're also on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel the next day following this show on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Eastern and Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern. Leave a comment. We're a live show. Leave a comment. If you're watching live, leave a comment in the Belly Up YouTube channel about what you thought about Mystery Alaska, who your favorite number 42 is, what you think of the Aaron Rodgers signing, Stanley Cup. Let us know. And again, I know, Dustin, it's not exactly Saturday brunch because I forgot to change the intros again before we went on. But regardless of whether it's Tuesday, whether it's Friday, or whether it's Saturday, this tune is always on time to pick me up.
It's always chime time.
Yes, it is. We've already got a comment in the comment section from our boy of summer, Kevin Wilson, saying, "Happy Tuesday, gentlemen. Happy Tuesday to you, sir.
Happy Tuesday to you, Kev."
Yeah, we appreciate you stopping by. He's with us on Saturdays talking baseball, amongst other things. So we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about the movie we watched this week. And I'll play that bumper, that beautiful bumper, for no ticket required. In my head, I'm singing that like Ralph Wiggum.
Yeah, it does fit. And I always key in on the people that jump back. That always gets me.
It gets me too. So this week we are going to review Mystery Alaska from 1999. Stars are Russell Crowe, Mary McCormick, the late great Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
Cast of characters: Cole Meany, Lolita Davidovich, Harry Kazaria, just to name a few people. Mike Myers makes an appearance.
Yes, Mike Myers. Yeah, there's some surprising cameos in this movie. Caught me off guard.
There are some surprising cameos, but we're going to talk about this movie. And Dustin, I'm going to start with you because I don't think before this weekend you saw Mystery Alaska.
No, I had never seen this. A little peek behind how the sausage is made. When our original choice, we could not find it on streaming. So you and I were going back and forth, and I found this movie on lists, but I had never seen it. And then you said, how about, after a little bit of back and forth, you said, how about Mystery Alaska? And here we are. And I have to say, when the movie first started, I didn't know what to think, but by the end of the movie, I was not disappointed. Okay. Sometimes I'm going to read my notes in some areas as verbatim. First of all, this movie opens faster than you can enter free roam in mode in the new Mario Kart World game. This opening is very short. Like you see basically the opening title card and then they're in. They're in. There's almost no opening credits to speak of for this movie, which is something that surprised me. But this movie overall, to me, Ryan, even though it came out in 1999, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like it was almost an aesthetic choice with this movie, with the way it's shot, with the way people are dressed and everything. It's got a feel of a movie almost a decade earlier. This very much felt like a 1989, maybe 1991 movie. And I don't know if that was a nod to signify that in Alaska, things, some trends might take a while to catch up because of where they are and things. But I liked it. I thought it fit the movie. I thought the vibe fit the movie. I thought the Sports Illustrated article that they use in the beginning was a great plot device to explain the significance of the Saturday game and what it means, and also introduce all the characters. I really like that. But then I have my first note after that is John Beebe's hair is epic. So Russell Crowe, he's got quite a mane on him in this movie. And then I have Michael McKean always plays a D-bag, and he's true. It's true.
I love Michael McKean, man. He's such a great comedic actor.
He
fits that role of the scuzzy Walmart type guy.
Yes. And of course, him. Obviously, he is in Spinal Tap, one of the few movies where he does not play a troublesome character. But I know him from the Brady Bunch movie. I know him from Airheads. I know him from Coneheads. In all of these movies,
Clue.
Clue. Yeah, Clue. Also,
such a great movie with the great Tim Curry. Oh man,
yes,
he fit that Butler role so
that's a
well.
fantastic. We might have to do bonus content on that one just for the heck of it. Maybe around Halloween or something.
And The French Maid.
Oh yeah. But the funny thing is, I have that he does fit. He plays a short role in this movie, but he plays a executive of a shopping chain who's threatening to come to town. But the things that stuck out to this movie, I couldn't believe how young Hank Azaria looked. But I like how the whole community kind of gets behind this hockey game. You could tell how much it means to the whole community. Everybody pitches in to clean up the ice. The whole town's invested, for better or worse. John Beebe gets demoted from the team because people say he can't play anymore, and you gotta have the young kid come in there, the young gun.
Yeah. You're but slow, and you haven't scored in over a month.
Yeah. But it's clear that his character is one of the better minds in on the team, and he's kind of one of the unifying forces of the team. And of course, Burt Reynolds, he realizes this, throughout things that happen in the movie. But I was glad that Skank got hit in the head with the shovel. He deserved it. He deserved it for what he said. But there's a lot.
Nothing leaves the room. In true hockey, in true locker room faction, what's said in the room stays in the room.
Stays in the room, and that violation is dealt with in a rather humorous fashion. Yes. But there's lots of drama in this town. There's
small town drama.
Sure. The mayor's wife is having an affair with Skank himself. Charlie obviously has feelings still for BB's wife. They find out they were high school sweethearts. That becomes a theme in this movie. But Mike Myers makes a cameo in this movie. I was very surprised to see Mike Myers. It was pleasant, and that gives this movie points. I'll get to it later when I reveal my order. But the thing, my favorite line of the entire movie is when one of John Beebe's kids is interviewed. I cannot repeat what he said because we are on the big show. We are on the Belly Up channel. So I'll keep it clean. But you're gonna like the line if you watch the movie. And I was invested in the story because it's the classic David versus Goliath tale. And what I think is going to help this movie's ranking for me is the fact that I bought into it. I was more invested in the final game. And I think that helps. But it does have some sports movie tropes, but when they work, they work. I wrote my last note was complete with a slow clap. But in this case, it works, and you get behind some of the characters, and I think it really paints probably what's a pretty accurate picture of locker room and like team banter and stuff. And you could tell it really matters to these guys, and I just enjoyed it. Like I said, it's a classic David and Goliath tale. But with that, I'm going to throw it over to you because I've gone on for a little bit now.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I wanted to get your thoughts because I've seen the movie. I actually own the DVD, and now I own it. Now I own it on Amazon. It was $5 to buy on Amazon. So, but it's a great deal if you want to watch a really good kind of dramedy, if you can call it that, comedy drama that involves some sports. Because I forgot when I watched this movie. I was more interested in the hockey aspect, but as I've gotten older, I've seen it with new eyes as I've gotten older. Since this movie is 26 years old now since
Yeah.
its first release. I now I start to see the human aspect of it, the small town drama, the typical small town drama you get with people. You hear things and rumor spreads and people talk in a small town.
Yeah.
And you also see the small town defense when Mike McKeon's character gets shot by by Connor.
Yeah.
Although it was accidental.
Yeah, it ricocheted off a wheelbarrow.
And I was aiming for the dog food, but I ricocheted off a wheelbarrow and just hit him in the leg. And he called the town a
whole string of things.
An F town, that kind of thing. But and then they go to trial, and then the whole thing is that Burt Reynolds plays the judge, and then later coaches the team. And he's at the beginning of the movie, he's very anti-hockey.
Yes.
Because when he was a kid who grew up in the town, didn't get to play the Saturday game, what's known as the Saturday game.
Mm-hmm.
But he still wanted to play college hockey. But he's the judge of the town. You can see him at dinner talking to his son and his daughter, and he's like, you don't
scooping the potatoes.
Skate, you don't pass the puck. You always shoot. More potatoes, honey.
Yeah.
This plate. I've lost my appetite.
Yeah, and he leaves. He leaves. He doesn't even have his wine with dinner. And for me, that was the only part of the movie that rang a little hollow to me. I wish they would have illustrated. It was subtly, it was stated, but they didn't and I guess people would say it was cliche, but they didn't do like a flashback to show, or it was just kind of like, he's bitter about it and that's it. So he's extra hard on his son, but it kind of felt like without a little bit of buildup, it felt like he went overboard on the kid, at first.
It didn't go quite Randy Marsh talking to his son about forming a boy band. And he smashes his head into the china cabinet, but you can tell the tension was there.
Yeah.
But there's tension. There's father-son tension throughout the movie. There's husband-wife tension.
Yeah.
You find out that the mayor's wife is sleeping with Skank, and he comes to find out about it because he left his necklace in the bed.
Yes.
Yeah, bad Skank. But there's also other drama. One of the characters dies when he goes to New York and goes in front of the judge, and
he was one of my favorite characters in the movie. I like that. He's the heart of that movie. He's one of the hearts.
Yep, Bailey, played by the great Maury Chaykin. But this movie, like I said, I initially saw it just because of the hockey aspect, but again, you start to see the human aspect and how relationships work and how relationships don't work, and how magically after Skank's apology, the mayor and his wife are lovey-dovey again. It's like that does. Okay, Ryan, suspend reality. You're good at that. You're good at suspending reality. Let's keep it that way, Ryan. Okay, but in real life it doesn't work because you need you need to do more work in your marriage. But there's some facts in this. So according to IMDb, the entire New York Rangers roster is fictional. Many of the players on the actual Rangers roster at the time refused to be in the film, which is funny because if that were to take place in 1990 during the 1998 season, you would have had Wayne Gretzky, you would have had Brian Leach, Mike Richter, scoundrel Mark Messier, bunch of the guys from the Rangers in that era. But I'm thinking to myself, you know what? They probably brought up the guys from Binghamton because the Rangers farm system was in Binghamton at the time. And and Connor says, "Oh, there's somebody in a place called Bennington."
Oh yeah, he does say that. That's right. I forgot. Yeah, there's something.
Yeah, and I'd forgotten that. I knew that Stevie at the end of the movie was signed by the Rangers because they loved his speed and they loved his absolutely burner speed. But I forgot, and I thought it was the goaltender they signed, but it was Connor who they signed because of his shot. But some more facts: the movie is loosely based on the 1905 Stanley Cup game between the Dawson City Nuggets, Dawson City being in, I think, the Yukon territory, and the Ottawa Senators.
Okay.
And Another fun fact: the defense Russell Crowe's character John teaches the team is the neutral zone trap.
I know. I saw
Made famous by my New Jersey Devils. So
yes,
suck it.
yes, yes, indeed. And I love it. And I love when the one of the players, I think it might have been Connor, he said we're gonna play it, and BB goes, no, we're not gonna play it. We're gonna learn it so we can beat it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Russell Crowe's character John Beebe wears number 10. His team captain, Crowe said Ronnie Hockey,
Oh, okay.
inspired him to wear number 10 in the film after they met. Francis wore number 10 throughout his NHL career and captained the Hartford Whalers / Carolina Hurricanes and Pittsburgh Penguins. So yeah, there's some ties there. Also, if I remember correctly, Mary McCormick went on Howard Stern back in the day because she was also in Private Parts. Private Parts movie. And she said that when she made this movie, she was inspired to sign up for a local women's league team.
Oh, wow.
In Los Angeles when she was living there. So I don't know if she still plays in that league now. She's in her 50s, I want to say. Let me just double check real quick.
Real-time research.
Yeah.
But
check out wait for the t-shirt.
Yeah.
February 8th, 1969. Nice. Wow, she's 5'7.5". She's a tall girl.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's my type.
She's taller than me.
Mary McCormick, if you're out there. Hey. Oh, she's married. Never mind.
Oh.
But still, like I'm a Mary McCormick stan. So I liked her in Private Parts. I loved her in this movie. Like she was excellent in this movie. So but yeah, this movie, I mean, for me, it definitely affected my ranking too. I mean, Seabiscuit right now, Seabiscuit is still number 1.
Yeah,
but moving to the cover to number 2 slot is Mystery Alaska. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly where you are. This may be the first and only time that we are unified on our movie rankings. We'll have to see how the rest of the series shakes out. But over the first 2 years that we did this, you and I had some differences, but this one I'm lockstep with you so far. Seabiscuit's going to be tough to top because I think both of us, I mean, look, we glommed onto the same quote, and I think we saw the movie the same way a lot of time during this review. And for this one, because of the fact that I bought in more and just kind of let the movie take me, to me shows that it was a better movie to me than Draft Day. Because Draft Day, I was laughing at the ridiculousness of some of the things that went down. And in Mystery Alaska, it definitely has some of the ridiculousness. In all likelihood, a team like this would not be able to hang with the New York Rangers. But that's another thing. Okay, without spoiling it, because I recommend you go and watch this movie if you're just looking for something that's lighthearted, but it's got some heart.
It's $5 on Amazon if you buy it now.
Yeah.
FYI.
And the thing is, like, it ends where it's got a feel-good sports movie ending, but it doesn't end maybe the way that you think it ends. And I liked that aspect of the movie. Me too.
And I was looking at the IMDb in the cameo section. Mike Myers' character. Mike Myers plays the commentator Donnie Schulthofer.
Yeah.
And he has similar mannerisms and sayings as Don Cherry.
I was going to ask if it was Don Cherry.
It was Don Cherry. Yeah, that served as the inspiration because Mike Myers is from Toronto.
Yep.
So he probably watched Hockey Night in Canada, Coach's Corner growing up, getting used to all his mannerisms. He's like, good Ontario boy.
Did I ever send you Don Cherry Piano Desk? That's one of the greatest. So if you go on YouTube after our show, of course, watch our show. And then after the show, look up Don Cherry Piano Desk. Because you know how Don Cherry used to put his hands on the desk and do that all the time? Somebody put piano to it. And it's so awesome. It's so awesome. There's like a series of them. And like if he slides his hands over, it's like it's hilarious. Don Cherry Piano Desk. Look it up.
Yeah. I know Don Cherry does a podcast, so maybe we'll have to invite him on for a podcast.
Oh man. He might bury both of us.
Well, I would love to get his story. I would love to get some stories because I've watched a couple. There's actually a movie. I think it's called Keep Your Chin Up, Kid. The story of Don Cherry, and Don Cherry is played by Jared Keeso, who is the inspiration for Letterkenny and Shoresy, two of my favorite shows. Yeah, it's just really funny. I'm like, is that Jared Keeso? Oh my God, it's Jared Keeso. He's playing Don Cherry. Got a couple of comments in the comment section before we go to break. Our friend of the show, Drew Willingham, D. Willie, saying Happy Taco Tuesday, fellas. Happy Taco Tuesday to you. Although I had ham, steak, and eggs for dinner. So, but I did have a burrito for lunch.
But guess what? I did have tacos before the show.
Hey.
2 of them.
Says he's checking in from work for a few, and he says, "Didn't know Mike Myers stole Mini-Me impression from Dana Carvey until yesterday."
Oh, I did not know that. I did not know that at all. But you know what I did know is that apparently the inspiration for Dr. Evil, Mike Myers has gone on record saying he was just doing an impression of Lorne Michaels, like ramped up a little bit.
And Drew's saying, "You cheated on tacos." Listen, Drew, tacos and I have an agreement. We have an open relationship. All right, I'm allowed to have tacos, and I'm allowed to have tacos and the occasional quesadilla. This is Lorne Michaels, and he's like giving you the horns because you're having tacos and facts. Yeah. Facts. But no credentials required, no ticket required. Mystery Alaska, great movie. It's a good movie. Again, if you can rent it on Amazon for $4, or you can buy it on Amazon for $5. I recommend doing the latter and buying it so you have it in your library. And Drew saying monogamous taco relationships. I'm a Mexican swinger. What can I say?
Oh man.
All right, we're going to ignore that completely. That's been our latest edition of No Ticket Required. Yeah, I might have to make a relationship podcast called No Pineapples Required. I don't swing. We're gonna take our network mandated commercial break. But when we come back, we're gonna talk about the Aaron Rodgers signing. We're gonna talk about last night's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, and we're gonna reveal our favorite athlete to ever wear the number 42 that we've watched. Not the greatest, but our favorite. So Stand by, stay tuned for more No Credentials Required.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. This is our sponsor, affiliate sponsor for this edition of No Credentials Required. Look, we've been reviewing movies for the last 3 weeks. We got 7 more to go. By the way, Blue Chips. Next week we're going to be reviewing Blue Chips with Nick Nolte, Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway. That's going to be a banger. I can tell already.
Ryan, how long has it been since you've seen Blue Chips?
I think it's been over 30 years since I've seen Blue Chips.
Well, I'll give you just a quick little teaser. My favorite part is how postal Nick Nolte goes when he's trying to break down plays, and he's like, he's out there backpicking, and he's like drawing frantically on this board. Now you'll be able to see it. But anyway, back to the magic that is.
Back to the magic is Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. And we've been watching movies for the last couple of weeks, reviewing them on this show. Everybody has their own favorite movie time snack. For myself, it's usually pretzels or popcorn. For Dustin, I'm pretty sure it's popcorn himself.
Oh, it's popcorn.
Or some Chex Mix as he makes occasionally. But if you're looking for a snack that's full of protein, low sugar, all natural jerky, go to righteousfelon.com. They've got a wide variety of flavors. They got my favorite, the old school, the OG Hickory, the Rocky Balboa, which is a little spicy, Soul Survivor, the Maryland Monroe, which is made with Old Bay crab seasoning. They got the turkey jerky, which tastes like a Thanksgiving dinner. But they only have the jerky. They've got the air dried biltong, which is African inspired. You got the beef sticks. You got the beef sticks and the pork sticks. The taco street taco, which is 100% pork. And like I said, like unlike these other imitators of the beef stick form, which Righteous Felon's made with 100% beef, 100% pork. All these other imitation beef sticks, their primary ingredient is pulled chicken, pulverized chicken.
Oh man,
you can't have that.
No. And I got to say that I've had the barbecue flavor, liked it. The OG Hickory still my number one when it comes to the jerky. Probably I've had the Truffalo Bill as well because you're a man of your word from our Olympic basketball bet. But recently, my brother-in-law was the winner of the Alex Ovechkin OV Goal Watch 2025. And one of the prizes that he won was Righteous Felon. And I told him, I said, pick a few varieties from the site. And he was going through, and no shade to him if he's watching, but he's a little picky. He's a little picky about things. But when he was going through, he said, they all look good. I don't know what to get. So I just got him an eight bag sampler pack. And I asked him when I saw him last, I said, how are you liking the jerky? He said, it's good. I like it. I like it.
But not only does Righteous Felon have craft jerky, the beef sticks, the biltong, they also have Wild Ranger dog treats, which is Pickles approved. That's Dustin's dog nephew. It is Pickles approved. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to righteousfelon.com. You're going to fill your basket with a bunch of jerky, with some beef sticks, maybe some gear if you want. And you're going to go to the basket and you're going to put in promo code BELLYUP at checkout. You get 15% off your order. But that's not all. See, if you order $50 or more worth of product, you get free shipping. Not only free shipping, but also fast shipping. So you get the free shipping for $50 in your cart. You put in that promo code, you get 15% off your order, so you maximize your savings. So again, righteousfelon.com, promo code BELLYUP at checkout, 15% off your order, plus free and fast shipping with every order over $50 or more. Drew in the comment section saying nachos are his go-to when he watches a movie. He also says they sell his work sells Righteous Felon in the cafeteria at work. It's $10 for Rocky Balboa and Friends jerky.
That seems
that's why you go to the website, Drew. You get yourself a bunch of stuff. You put in the cart. Promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Free shipping for $50 or more. He also says, keep crushing, fellas. Heading back to the office. Thanks, Drew, for stopping by, brother. We'll see you on Friday for Total Football Talk. FYI.
Extra.
No, this is
the OG show, huh?
This is the OG show.
My mistake, because I know you started your CFL coverage and you're trying to convert me. I saw that video you sent.
Right. Trey Ford running all over the field, converting a third down. It almost turned into a touchdown. So gotta be watching, man. All right. We're going to talk about last Friday. We didn't talk about on the show on Saturday morning because we wanted to keep the show pretty condensed. But Aaron Rodgers, former New York Jets quarterback, former Green Bay Packers quarterback, finally made his decision, came out of the darkness, finally signed a 1-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe the contract is worth $10 million with bonuses and incentives that go up to $19.5 million. Officially put pen to paper on Friday and was at practice today for mini camp. Wow, he made it to mini camp. Good for him.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this signing, Dustin. What was your initial reaction when you heard this news? And I've got my thoughts on it, but I want to have you go first. Let's talk about this acquisition.
You're always so nice to have me go first. I got to let you lead off one of these times, but you always pass the baton to me first. So I'll let you be the closer as usual. But when I first, I had two guttural reactions when he signed. My first reaction was finally, okay, because this was will he, won't he, will he, won't he, and the people have issues with Brett Favre, understandably so, and people used to say that his waffling back and forth on whether he wanted to play or didn't want to play. Aaron Rodgers, same playbook, except he hasn't retired and come back multiple times. So you got to give him that. But the thing is, Aaron Rodgers knows how to play football in the cold, okay? He's done it almost his entire career because guess what? New York in the wintertime is not exactly warm, and he played in Green Bay. So that's not what I'm worried about. But I don't know how much Aaron Rodgers has left, and I don't understand how he can still command what – Mike Tomlin must have wanted him in Pittsburgh bad because they waited. They waited for so long, and they went out and they signed DK. They traded for DK Metcalf, and they have George. They have Pickens there, and I don't know how Aaron Rodgers at this point. Now, I'm not going to argue that Mason Rudolph would be the better choice at quarterback, but do I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to take the Steelers to the Super Bowl? The Steelers defense was great last year, but it faltered down the line. And Russell Wilson and Justin Fields at points both look great for the Steelers. Jury's out on Justin Fields and what he's going to do with your New York Jets next year, Ryan. I like that signing a lot, actually. But Russell Wilson faltered down the stretch. There's no other way to say it. Even the biggest Russell Wilson fans, which, hey, I'm not one of the haters. Russell's exit from Seattle was not the best. But Russell still, I love what he did for the Seahawks. And I might get roasted for this one. But I would argue that Russ probably throws a better deep ball than Aaron Rodgers, even at this stage of his career. And you could make an argument that for as much hate as Russell Wilson gets, he might have a little bit more left. Aaron Rodgers does not have the mobility of a Russell Wilson, even though Russ is taking way too many sacks later in his career. We'll see how he does with the Giants. But Aaron Rodgers missed a throw last year, and I keep talking about this because I was there live for the game, as was my co-host and the captain of the ship for Seahawks Sessions, Mr. Dan Cruz, and we both noticed Aaron Rodgers missed a wide open receiver in the end zone that could have broken that game open for the Jets, and he missed him badly. He didn't have many, better than anybody. It's not like he had a bunch of hallmark moments for the Jets. And I don't think the Jets put a bad team around him. And to some degree, the Jets blew up their team and allowed Aaron to make a bunch of signings. People say that it's not like he was the GM of the team, but you cannot disagree with the fact that they allowed Aaron Rodgers to shape the offense. They allowed Aaron Rodgers to bring in plays that he was comfortable with. And knowing Mike Tomlin and the type of coach that he is purported to be, I don't see how this marriage works out. I think it could go real south.
So for me, this could go one of two ways. Either the Steelers go 10-7, and they're a wild card once again. Mike Tomlin keeps his streak alive of consecutive seasons over 500. Or this could go very poorly because, as I see it right now, Aaron Rodgers has 2 targets to throw to. He's got DK Metcalf and he's got Pat Freiermuth, and that's about it. And he doesn't have much of a running game to rely on because Najee Harris went to, I believe, it was the Chargers, I want to say.
Oh, I'll have to look that up. I'm
looking it up right now. Yep, he went to the Chargers. Yeah, he went to the Chargers, and I don't know. And last season, he did not have the most friendly relationship with either Robert Saleh or with Joe Douglas, the GM, which led to both of their dismissals. So they had to start fresh. They just start brand new, and with the Jets right now, the right now the running back room looks like this: Jalen Warren, Caleb Johnson, who they drafted, Kenneth Gainwell,
former Philadelphia Eagle, right?
Philadelphia Eagles, and Trey Sermon. That is your Trey Sermon, formerly of the Indianapolis Colts. That's your running back room right now.
Okay.
From what I understand, last year I think the Steelers had the 12th ranked offensive line in all the NFL. And again, amazingly, they made the wild card, but things fell apart, and that wild card came against Baltimore.
Yes.
You could see that that defense, as good as they were gassed by the end of the first half. You see Craig Hayward,
Cameron Hayward,
excuse me. Yeah. Cameron Hayward. I was thinking about Craig, his father. Hayward. Cameron Hayward just be like completely gassed and calling his timeout because he's so tired because he's getting beat down by that Ravens offensive line. Their defense fell apart last year. From what I understand, it's the most expensive defense in the NFL because they put all their chips in. I'd probably say about 75. I'd say about 65 to 70% of their chips in with the defense, and then the rest of it went to the offense. And their offense was at times heavily anemic. And this was even when Mike Tomlin replaced. He replaced Justin Fields with Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
They were still anemic, but they found ways to win.
Yeah. So
this offense, it's going to be interesting next year. I think Aaron Rodgers signed with the team, because the Steelers were desperate, because they're up to that point. That locker room was Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and reach for the Skylar Thompson. That was your quarterback room up to Aaron Rodgers signing with the team. And I think part of Aaron Rodgers wants to prove that he still has it. That last year was, I wouldn't say a fluke, but considering the fact that he was hurt for a good portion of the middle of the season and didn't really come true to form until probably the last 2 months of the season. And he kind of balled out in his last appearance in a Jets uniform against Miami in Week 18. So he's got something to prove to himself, and the Steelers they need somebody in the back. They need somebody quarterbacking that team, because it certainly wasn't going to be Mason Rudolph. It certainly wasn't going to be Skylar Thompson. And I made a bold prediction that Will Howard was going to be the starting quarterback in Week 1. That prediction got thrown out the window pretty quickly when Aaron Rodgers signed with the team.
Yeah.
So I don't have any ill will towards Aaron Rodgers.
No.
He tried his best. Unfortunately, he has kind of got away from him with bad coaching situation. Robert Saleh, like I said, I have respect for Robert Saleh. He also tried his best in New York with Joe Douglas, he tried his best in New York, but they made too many errors in personnel, which cost them last year. I guess there's one executive said that they built a defense to maintain a lead and not make any really big differences last year, because they figured Aaron Rodgers was going to do his magic at quarterback. Yeah. But when you've got a whole offensive line that's kind of rotating around, and with the bad signing of Tyron Smith stealing money, just like who was it they signed from Seattle, left tackle. Can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Oh, Dwayne Brown.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Left tackle stealing money, and then with Mekhi Becton, that situation, they should have moved him to guard sooner than later, because he did not turn out to be the tackle that they were going to be, but they thought it was going to be. But yeah, I have no ill will towards Aaron Rodgers. I jokingly laughed at the beginning of the show when we mentioned what we're going to talk about. Yeah. But I have no ill will towards the guy. He tried his best at 41 years old and coming off a catastrophic injury of a torn Achilles, and actually did his damnedest to come back in 2023. He
did. That you can't argue with. He definitely did. But I don't know, and I don't have any ill will against Aaron Rodgers. It's just what drives me crazy sometimes is this back and forth.
Mhm.
And I know some Steeler fans in my life, and I said to one of them, I was having a conversation, and I said, this is going to sound crazy, but if I was the Steelers, I would have been talking to Kirk Cousins, because at least Kirk Cousins wants to play.
Yes.
Aaron wasn't sure. For a while.
Yeah.
Kirk, at least he's made it clear he wants to play. Now, Kirk Cousins, it was not good last year, but at least the drive is there. He wants to play.
Yeah. And Kirk Cousins come off the same injury that Aaron Rodgers had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catastrophic injury. It's a torn Achilles is not something that you come back and just get up on your feet 2 weeks. You gotta have surgery, you gotta go through months of physical therapy, just to get back to normal.
Yeah.
And for a normal person, it would have taken longer, but Aaron Rodgers was driven to get back on the field in 2023 because he knew the Jets had talent. But again, the problem was coaching, a guy who tried his best, but didn't know what to do in key situations, a defense that surrendered the lead too often in late situations, and which forced Aaron Rodgers to try to play the hero, and unfortunately turnovers got to him. And you also have a meddling owner and allegedly his son getting involved in some of the personnel decisions, which got widely panned and laughed at by the rest of the NFL. Which, like I said, I have no hope in the Johnson family selling that team until they get a Super Bowl, so they can claim, oh, we got a Super Bowl for the New York Jets, and they can sell the team for 10 times what they bought for them in 1999. So, but yeah, best of luck to Aaron Rodgers. That's all I'm going to say about that. And like I said, this sign could go one of two ways. Either it could be great for the Steelers and he has a great season, or it's going to be a complete disaster and the Steelers will have to let go of Mike Tomlin and find a new coach. So, yeah, that's what happened with Joe Douglas. He put all his hopes in. It was kind of a Hail Mary to save his job, and wound up costing him his job. So, not gonna begrudge the guy. He's a football player. He wants to prove he still got it. So, hey,
we will see. And apologies, I had forgotten that the Cowboys acquired George Pickens. So the Steelers, that's one smart move, because DK, he wants to be the number one guy. I know that from his time in Seattle, and he's fiery. And then you would have had George Pickens on the other side, who also wants to be the number one guy and is also fiery and also talks if he doesn't get the ball. That would have been tough to manage in Pittsburgh. But now it's Dallas's problem, because Jerry Jones said, come on down, because he's got two receivers that very much both want to be the number one guy, but money's going to dictate that Pickens is number two.
Yep. All right, we're going to talk briefly about last night's Stanley Cup Game 3 nightmare if you're the Oilers, but if you're the Panthers, you are 2 wins away from a repeat Stanley Cup. You have all the blizzards you want, 6-1 final. This got away from the Oilers very quickly with Brad Marchand doing Brad Marchand things. This is exactly why the Panthers acquired him at the trade deadline. So I want to get your thoughts, very quick thoughts, Dustin, before we talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 32. As an Oilers fan, how are you feeling?
Well, not good, especially after the way the first 2 games went. And I said that the two teams were evenly matched, and the Oilers had the slight edge in shots in the series leading into this game. But Bobrovsky had been so good in goal that it kind of, it evened it out. But the two going into the series, I still have faith in my Oilers. You can't let it shake the faith. But going into the series, I said, if the Panthers win it, it's going to be because they have the edge in goaltending and the edge in physicality. And I think you saw both last night. Now, full disclosure, I did not see the full game because I was bowling with my dad. You got to spend time sometimes with your family. That's number one. But I did watch the third period of the game, and I saw it just, like you said, the Oilers were out of sorts. The Panthers dominated them, and the Panthers showed their physical edge last night, because there was a bunch of fights that erupted on the ice at one point, probably frustration bubbling over for the Oilers, along with the Panthers saying, hey, come get it. And I just saw Darnell Nurse. He tried his best in this one fight, but he was bested by who he was fighting on the Panthers. I forget who it was. And you just saw Darnell Nurse skating away, and his mouth was a little bloodied and his visor was all screwed up. And that to me was just, it was a metaphor for how the Oilers played that night. They got beat. They tried to step to the Panthers. They got beat. I think they will regroup. The team is too talented, and I think the Oilers have a more physical edge to them this year. They're not the Oiler team that's coming in last year against these Panthers, but these Panthers showed, I'm sorry about the pun, but they still got the teeth. You know, they are who we thought they are. This is why I think this series is going to go 7. Because the Panthers will not go quietly if they go at all. And if they play like they did last night, the Oilers are in trouble. As long as the Oilers are able to take one in Florida, I will be happy. But, man, it was not good last night. Kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Thursday night's game, because it's a 2-night layoff.
Yeah.
For before Game 4, and it could either hurt or it could benefit the Edmonton Oilers. I think it'll benefit them because they need time to regroup. But they tried. But you could tell in the third period they lost their edge a little bit. They lost their head because they're playing a team that will give everybody fits. And when you have Matthew Tkachuk and Brad Marchand on the ice at the same time, you're going to be trying to retaliate, and that's not great, because this is what the penalty sheet looked like in the third period. All right. 2:19, Stuart Skinner, delay a game, puck over glass. 5:07, Matthias Janmark, roughing. 72 this is for the Oilers. Panthers, 72, Brad Marchand, hooking. Then at 10:29, the fun starts. Trent Frederick, cross-checking. Trent Frederick, roughing. AJ Greer, roughing. Sam Bennett, roughing. Darnell Nurse, roughing. Darnell Nurse, fighting. Gadjevich, fighting. Misconduct for Greer, Bennett, Gadjevich, Nurse, Frederick, and Ekholm. And then Evander Kane comes back with a slashing.
Yeah.
And then it gets another misconduct. But he gets a misconduct. Wallman has an unsportsmanlike against Tkachuk and a roughing double minor. Aaron Ekblad gets a double minor for roughing. And then Kasperi Kapanen gets a cross-check penalty with a misconduct. And then Luosterainen because of charging penalty on Brett Kulak. So that was the entire third period. 85 minutes total for the Oilers in penalty minutes, 55 for the Panthers. So 140 penalty minutes in last night's game alone. So if you're the Oilers and you're Chris Knobloch, hey Nobby, you're talking to your team today. You're not making them do sprints, but you're having a talk. You're having a come to Jesus moment saying, listen, guys, we can't beat them at their game.
Yeah.
We got to play our game. And yes, we play heavy at times, but right now we got to play smart and we got to play disciplined. And that's going to make the difference tomorrow on Thursday night in Game 4. And if Florida wins again, it's going to be another 3-1 deficit in this series. But I guess I'm Levac and guys this afternoon. Like I asked about it. You go down 3-1. We've seen a 3-1 comeback before. We saw a 3-0 comeback last season, and tied the series at 3. And unfortunately for you, the Panthers won in 7. So this is a come to Jesus moment for the Oilers, I think, especially after last night with 85 total penalty minutes and a bunch of guys getting getting misconducts left and right. So that penalty box looked pretty full.
And I mean, it would have been the series, and I mean, it sounds stupid to say, but the series would have a whole different feel if the Oilers win Game 2, that double overtime thriller. Chris Knobloch can dismiss this game. He can say, hey guys, we lost our heads a little bit. We got outplayed last night. Don't try to beat them at their own game. Let's go and do what we do. You're still up 2-1. But that's not the case. The Panthers were able to edge the Oilers out in that second overtime, and then they dominated the Oilers last night. There's no other way to put it.
No,
so there's a different feel. This is a must-win for the Oilers.
Yep. And I had the Oilers in 6. So Hopefully they win the next 3 because my prediction comes true. And I can say again, man, I hate being right. but we're going to wrap up tonight's show with our favorite athletes to wear the number 42. And Dustin and I talked about it. I got some honorable mentions, but I think we're going to agree on number 42 on who our favorite athlete is. But I want to mention some honorable mentions. Ronnie Lott, number 42 for the San Francisco 49ers and the New York Jets. He played for the New York Jets in the early 90s.
So forgot about that.
Yeah, that's right. Mo Vaughn of the Boston Red Sox and Anaheim Angels, not the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the Anaheim Angels. Dave Henderson, big slugger for the, I believe it was the A's. The A's, the Mariners, the Red Sox. Let's see. The Mariners, the Red Sox, the Giants, the A's, and the Kansas City Royals. Big time hitter. James Worthy, number 42, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Got to mention him, got to put him in the conversation. But Dustin, we talked about it. We talked about not overlapping, but this time around we got to make a special exception.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no other choice. For me, I knew because Ryan and I are both Yankee fans and we both saw a ton of this man play, and he is the most dominant at his position with how many pitches? 1. We're talking about Enter Sandman himself, Mariano Rivera. I mean, with how much he meant to the Yankees and how instrumental he was in all of the playoff runs. And I will throw fisticuffs with any Yankee fan who tries to come to me and say, Mariano Rivera blew that 2001 World Series. He gave up that hit to Luis Gonzalez. And my counter argument is, and will always be, if it were not for Mariano Rivera, we wouldn't have even been in the position to be able to try to take that game. So sit down. Mariano Rivera, he's the man. Ice water running through his veins. And let's not forget when he first came into the league and he was a setup man for John Wetland. That's a ridiculous 1-2 punch. And John Wetland, he's nothing to sneeze at as a closer, but Mariano became so dominant and it was so easy that it made the Yankees' decision to first move Wetland's role and then ultimately let him go because Mariano Rivera was so dominant. And that's why the Yankees, we as Yankee fans, we got spoiled, Ryan. We did. We got spoiled because if the game got to the 8th or 9th in the playoffs, or it got to the 9th in the regular season, it was over. Mo was going to shut the door. And it always seemed that as the stakes went up, so did his play. Nobody could hit that cutter. They all knew it was coming. And nobody could hit it. And I forget who taught him that pitch. I can't remember, but there was a player he credited with teaching him that pitch. I think it was somebody out of the Yankee pen. Might have been one of the pitching coaches. I can't remember. Or it
was Mel Stottlemyre.
Okay,
and bullpen coach Mike Borzello.
Okay. So it was. I always loved Mel Stottlemyre.
Although Mo Rivera famously stated that nobody taught me the cutter but God. But Mel Stottlemyre and Mike Borzello helped him develop it. So.
Yeah, but he just, to me, he went out, he handled his business, and anytime Enter Sandman was playing, you knew the game was over. And along with a couple of setup men at certain periods in Mo's tenure, the game was often over in the 7th inning. If you could get to the pen. That's why those years that the Yankees had some suspect starting pitchers, you were still all right, because if you could get through 6, you were going to be okay, because the bullpen was going to shut the door. And if things ever got out of hand, Mo would go in early and he'd start shutting people down. Just an amazing. He's 42 is a very special number in baseball, and we all know the reason why. But Mariano Rivera was grandfathered in. He was allowed to continue wearing the number. Yeah. And by all reports, a great teammate. People loved him. And Yankee fans, we all know what it was like. One of the most dominant athletes we've ever seen at any position.
Yeah. Back in 2021, in the early-ish iteration of no credentials required, I did a top 10 ranking of athletes to come through, professional athletes to come through the capital region area. And Mariano Rivera, I think I ranked him at number 2 or number 1 because he played for like Albany Colony Yankees back in the day.
Yeah.
He was never supposed to be a reliever. He was a starter. He was predicted as a starter, but he just couldn't get it together in terms of starting. So Joe Torre made the decision in 1996 to put him in as a setup man for John Wetland, and that catapulted his career. And then he became full-time closer in 1996. So according to Baseball Reference, he is the all-time career records leader in games finished with 952, saves 652, and ERA plus. I don't know what ERA plus is. Some sabermetrics nerds, help me out. What is ERA plus? Because it just shows me a formula. I can't really describe it, but it's ERA plus of 205. He's the career leader, all-time leader in those categories. I believe he's also the all-time leader in postseason saves with 42, and he has a career ERA. He has an 8-1 so in his career, postseason career, win-loss record 8-1. We all know what that one is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
ERA of 0.70 in 96 games, finished 78 of them, 42 saves, and 141 innings pitched. Ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
And the most memorable of them of the game of the innings he had was in 2003 when he finished Game 7 of the ALCS. He pitched 4 innings of shutout ball, allowed no runs, got the win on Aaron Boone's launch of Tim Wakefield to left field in that famous pose. Which, by the way, I'll have to play our salute to our tribal chief to close the show. But Mariano Rivera, Hall of Famer. I got to see him inducted into the Hall of Fame personally at Cooperstown when I was an intern at 104.5. Got to travel out there for the day and see him inducted in the Hall of Fame. One of my all-time favorite. I'd probably say my all-time favorite baseball player actively. Mm-hmm. Active Yankee. One of my favorite all-time Yankees is Yogi Berra because I played catcher and he played catcher, and like Yogi Berra was just a great dude. But my money's worth, my favorite all-time Yankee in the modern era is Mariano Rivera. And yes, I believe that he wore number 42. He got permission from the Robinson family to continue to wear number 42 after it was retired throughout all of baseball. Mm-hmm. And when Mariano Rivera retired after the 2011 season, it was nobody will ever wear number 42 ever again.
Yeah.
And I could say that 2011 season, I had the pleasure. That's 2011, 2013. Sorry, his last postseason appearance was in 2011, but in 2013, I got to go to a game. Took my nephew to a game where I saw not only Andy Pettitte pitch for what would be his final season in the Yankees uniform, but also got to see Mariano Rivera save that same game. So it was really awesome that kind of full circle moment to see in the court with the core four, who all played in Albany Colony at one point or another in their career, play in that stadium for the last time before their send off. So that's our favorite athlete to wear the number 42. Number 43 is coming up, and I can't think of anyone right now off the top of my head, but you'll find out on Saturday.
Yeah.
It'll be a tough one.
It will be. Some of these are, people. Some of these are. Some are easy, some are tough. 41 and 42, two of the easiest shows for me I've ever done.
Yeah. 44 might be all right, but I think 45 onward through like 70 might be a little tough.
Yeah. We're gonna see how we do with some of these, but you
really deep on this one.
Yeah, you talked about a pitcher though that we may hear about shortly. A few short episodes.
This is true. And before we go out, we just want to play this PSA from our tribal chief.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Once to the sky for our tribal chief. When's he coming back, man? I can't wait for he comes back.
I know.
Anyway, but I was referring to Roman Reigns, not Wise El Jefe. He'll be back for the natural.
Yes.
We'll review the natural. Oh, and one thing, you know what? That I will say about Mystery Alaska, that scene when Connor gets acquitted of second-degree assault. I thought of Wise.
Oh, yeah.
Said, can't keep him locked up. It's too important to the team.
Yeah. That's one of the greatest. I look forward to football season for a lot of reasons, but that's one of them because that soundbite will be back. Can't have him locked up.
Be back.
He's too important to the defense. I love it.
Love it. All right, we're going to get out of here. Before we do, just want to remind you to follow us on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. Hit that follow button. And look for other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora, also on YouTube. And get notified, hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when live shows go up. That way you know when show clips go up. That way you know when show announcements go up. We're doing a little experimentation on the Twitter on our Twitter channel, on our Twitter page. Last couple of days I'm doing random stadiums of the world. And yesterday it was Escon Field in Hiroshima, Hokkaido, Japan, where the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters baseball team play. That stadium is absolutely gorgeous. And today I put up where is it? Zonda Crypto Arena in Davos, Switzerland, home of HC Davos, and that building is equally as beautiful, if not more. It's a hockey arena. It's absolutely gorgeous. So search for our look at our Twitter channel for that too. Also, again, podcast side, rate, review, comment, all that fun stuff. On the Belly Up YouTube side, leave a comment about your favorite number 42, about what you thought of Mystery Alaska, what you think of Aaron Rodgers signing, and what's going to happen in the Stanley Cup. But in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. So thank you for joining us on No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports or Dustin Henry. I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, where we're talking about baseball as well as some other stuff, and we're going to talk about our favorite athlete to wear the number 43. So thank you for joining us. Have a great week. We'll talk to you Saturday morning.
Good night, everybody.